All right, welcome to Studio 6 Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Hill. We have a special early edition show today on Sunday, which we usually do our show at 6. I have a couple members of the O.P.O and the Ghost in the Hood show on Hulu. Got David Purdy, and I am just about to get Mwanda. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's good. Maunda is the name.
Maunda.
Told you.
Yeah.
Told you. I got it wrong. She'll kick
I
your ass.
know. Right. I've only asked
It's
it
okay.
like three or four times. So,
That's
but
okay.
that's okay
It's-
because I usually have some issues with some of my guests anyway, so it's all good. So Deficio. Hey.
How's it going?
Hey, what's
I'm
up,
sorry.
man?
Good.
It's
One
all
second. Let
right.
me adjust this. Okay, now I can
All
see you
right.
guys really good.
Okay. Well, as you know,
Hey.
I'm the host of Studio 6 Paranormal Podcast, and I'm so glad that you guys decided to agree to this interview. Like I was telling Purdy that one day I was really bored and looking on Hulu, and I came across your show and thought, man, this show's awesome. And I really enjoyed watching those episodes. And
Mhm.
from what I had talked to other people, have they seen it or have they heard about it? A few have, and then there's some of them that they had no idea. And then once they watched it, they're like, oh my gosh. And they thought it was just fantastic.
Mhm.
And I saw that
Sure.
video that Purdy put out the other day talking to both of you about all of a sudden everybody and their mother came out of the woodwork. And they were just like, they were like, where were these guys at? And
Right.
I was one of them. I was one of these people that was like, yeah, where were these guys at in 2017? And I was just so it's great that you guys made that content. It's a little bit of a refreshing take on the paranormal, especially with a little bit of the comedy in it. It made it more interesting and more believable compared to some of the shows that are out nowadays. I mean, it's a lot of it. It was just about drama, but your guys' show was refreshing. So, thank you for doing, what you guys did. And we all, the ones that I've talked to, have wished that you guys would have a second season. You never know what the cards hold, so, anything can happen. But let's kind of go down the line here and talk with the lead investigator of O.P.O. So can you let my listeners know a little bit about like who you are and what you've been doing to get into the paranormal, or what were some of the experiences that said, hey, I really want to look into this?
Well, it kind of began when I was a little boy. I didn't pursue it at that time, but just some of my family members had some experiences.
Mhm.
Paranormal, if that's what you want to label it. I've had family members that were visited by past family members.
Oh wow.
Had out of body experiences, and that just always stuck in my mind. And then fast forward, I'm originally from Long Beach, California. I moved to Mississippi, stayed there, went to high school and college, and came, got into police work and everything, and had some friends that kind of invited me out to do some investigations. And I at the time I thought I was like, okay, not my
Kinda-
cup of tea, but
Yeah.
we'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, I was going to say that once you kind of get into that, it's like it kind of draws you in.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you're stuck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is.
So
It's a very
you live
interesting
in
field.
Los Angeles now?
I'm back in Los Angeles. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still doing any investigations or?
Yeah. Me and Purdy get together, periodically. Monda also, obviously we have, different lives and different stuff, businesses that we do, but periodically we do get together. Not as often as I would like, but
Mhm.
life is life, and
It was
You would like it a lot,
I'm very
though.
open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
extremely hard with the pandemic, though. So I kind of cut it down
Yeah.
from us together for
Yeah.
a while. So
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, my paranormal team ran into that too when we first kind of got started, and it's when the pandemic hit, it kind of everything kind of stopped, and it was kind of a bad time. But now things are picking back up.
Right.
Right.
Everything's kind of ramping. So, researcher, I love the fact that when I watched you on that TV show, and you were so efficient in some of the stuff that you were finding. I was like, how did you get into that? I mean, how was it? Is it something that you do naturally, or is it something that you're just like, hey, I can do this?
Well, I when I met DeFicio, I was a project coordinator at a job, and
Okay.
so I used to do that was my job to research all the products, to research the history of it, and it was just something that I like to do because when you learn different things, it's pretty interesting. And when he came to me asking me, hey, would you do some research, for me? And I was like, what kind of research? I'm not doing no skip tracing on nobody. But he was like, no, but it's gonna sound kind of wacky. And then he told me about it. At first, I was like, nah, I ain't messing with that. And then he said, well, it's money involved. And I was like, okay, I'm messing with that. So that's how I got involved. Because I was like, if I got to just look at the history of Los Angeles and all these different neighborhoods, yeah, I could do that, right? So that's how it came about.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and on top of it too, I mean, Los Angeles is rich with history. I mean, there's just so much that as big as it is, even back in when me and Purdy were talking about like the Old West. I mean, even then. I mean, it was just one of those booming places. So Purdy, let me ask you, how has it been since having been on the show and the things that you've experienced and kind of where you're at now with your technology? Because I had noticed that a lot of the technology on your show was pretty innovative at that time, and it was pretty cool. You know what I mean? So I think I would argue to say that some people probably kind of followed suit in some of the stuff that you were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was for the lack of money that we had. You had to use what you had to use.
Right.
No, I know it's like doing the show, and then after the show, we did what we could with what money we had, and obviously you can't charge people to ghost hunt because that doesn't ever work out for anyone. So we had different jobs and different things. So I mean, from my background, it was always being pretty much what my lower third says, being a nerd, and figuring out like what are the best ways to do stuff without having a lot of money but still work. But obviously I do have connections being in the field for so long. One of my friends, Mike Murray, I think we have the same friends on Facebook. Yeah. He's actually helped out quite a bit when I needed some stuff, and we make it. And I think I've had him make me a couple different things, or have an idea where I'm like, hey, I got this idea. Can we probably do it? We'll go out and get some stuff and make something, and it's like, ta-da, there it is. And I guess it's just always the knack for having to come up with something on the fly that's useful for whatever we're doing.
Right.
And it actually being useful, because VCO runs a tight ship, as you can tell.
Yeah, Purdy is like the MacGyver
of equipment.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, nice. Well, and you need that. I mean, and from what I understand of even just watching the show and just seeing you guys sit here now, I mean, there's that camaraderie. I mean, there's that closeness together, and that's really what made a lot of the show was the fact that you guys acted like a family. It wasn't so much that it was individual. You guys were all your own entities, but you guys really came together on a lot of different things. You know what I mean? So, as far as some of the other members that we don't have here today, have you talked to any of the last two members or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll get together. We'll have lunch. Matt is back in New York, but we still communicate fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
And and I just talked to Jasmine the other day. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Good.
Well, I love Jasmine's text though when we told her like, hey, we wanted to see about doing this, and she said, much appreciated. I'm buried in a heavy Filipino demonology project right now, but send my best regards for their interest.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
can't get more Jasmine than that.
Right. She stays busy in that realm. She stays busy.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Right. So I've been kind of wondering this question since I watched the episodes, and what happened to the RV?
Well, the RV, with after the show, I held on to it as long as I could, but parking in LA is crazy.
Right.
And storage got kind of high, and so I just had to let it go.
Oh
Put
wow.
that thing out of its misery, man.
Yeah.
Now, do you miss it?
It was barely running anyway. So.
But
that's
the job though.
Right. That's what that was part of the show. I mean, you would see that, and everybody would know, and so it's too bad you had to let it go, but I get that concept. Yeah.
I mean, it was barely running.
Barely.
Remember when you were down to PCO when we were driving? You were like, I don't know if I can make this turn. We all agreed we don't think
Yeah, it's probably moments like that probably weren't on camera that you were probably like, this probably should have been on camera,
Yeah.
But there's probably quite a few of those moments. But so let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you guys are currently working on now. Are you guys working in the paranormal, or are you thinking about working in paranormal, or is there going to be maybe a season 2 or something along those lines? Or
well, with the popularity growing, the momentum of the show, I mean, I would be bold enough to say that there is a possibility of a second season.
Okay.
But with that, it's just TV land is kind of up and down. You just never know.
Right.
But I think it is a possibility. As far as us, doing investigations, like I said, we do it periodically, but we got family, we got jobs and stuff like that. So it's not as often as we would like to.
You'd like to, right?
Yeah. The TV show, I gotta say that probably depends on the people. When the people, complain about what they want, they get it. So, if people like the show, they need to be vocal about it, so we can get a season 2. Because otherwise, it's not cheap to do this and get together. So personally, I would rather a season 2 so I can have some change in my pocket.
Right.
So I do not work for free.
Right. And if you're working for free, then you've got unlimited money supply somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of people don't realize that too. That a lot of the paranormal investigators and all that, and me being one, I don't get paid to do it. I would never charge anybody to do it. You know what I mean? But when you put in your effort and your time, like on a TV show, unless you're rich, you can't do it for free. So that's understandable. I mean, so how about talking about one of your favorite episodes of that TV show? Something that you maybe didn't make the reel, or something that made you laugh, or something that you thought that was just crazy. I'll let Purdy go first.
I still think one of them was in Inglewood where we tied up Matt. Every time I think of fondly of that show, it's that one, tying up Matt and bringing in a priest, and the PCO is saying we don't have to do this. It's it was just fun. The reactions, the whole story, how it was done just was fantastic, and it's one of the ones that stand out to me and plus I got to make those the laser grid which was super fun to do and kind of get to be really like nerd out. So it was kind of like a best of both worlds, being nerdy, tying up Matt, it was so that was mine.
So between the two of you, what would you say was your favorites?
Oh, mine was definitely the drive-through cemetery in Compton. That was crazy. First of all, just to know that there's a drive-through cemetery and it's real.
That was freaky. Yeah.
That was freaky. That was really freaky. And you can feel like an eerie feeling in there. And you're just like, oh, what happened here? You can't even imagine. Plus in Compton, they still have stray dogs. Like in LA, there's never stray dogs because people take care of their dogs. But we were doing stuff outside and it was like German shepherds and shit. Like I was like walking around, getting on camera. I was like, all right, Compton, all right, just let your dogs roam out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that one was freaky. That was the first time I've ever heard of a drive-through funeral home. I mean, I was like, yeah, that was. I guess it takes all kinds, but wow,
there is a reason for it because on my Twitter, I get some of the news here in Vegas, and apparently there was a shooting at another drive-through funeral home recently.
Wow,
and I'm like. Everyone's going to probably be like, what? Like, what is this? And we're going to be like, that's right. This is why they did it. Because
that's why they did it.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
So it makes sense now. But when you first see it, no.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the PCO? What'd you think about that whole drive through?
Oh, I mean, it was amazing. I didn't even know that existed before Maunda found it, because they have another one, another part of the country. I forgot which state, but yeah, just the whole thought of a drive-through funeral home was just like captivating to me. I was just like, wow. So
yeah,
but I'm gonna tell you the moments that we weren't on film, when we were eating and just all of us together, we were just like, wow, just a few years ago we were just dreaming about this. Now this is a reality. We're actually on a TV show, and to share the screen with these people, been a blessing.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I mean, that's you meet new people all the time, and especially me being in the paranormal field, and I've met some amazing people, and I just I can't believe, hey, I'm actually friends with this person, hanging out and doing this because of the fact that the having common interest in the paranormal is very vast in that sense. So I mean, you get one person that talks about the paranormal, and then you've got a couple more people, and then next thing you know, you're sharing stories, and it just like I said before, it draws people in. And it's just something. It's a mystery. It's something different. It's something that people can have some common ground to. But so the VCO, I think that with some of those shows, I noticed that you did a lot of in the RV. Did you do a lot more investigations, or were you always more or less behind the TV and watching the crew go in and do their thing?
I like to, just to make sure everything is 10-10. It's like I like to say, just kind of like a coach, quarterbacking, just where I can see everything, see the monitors, and if I need to intervene or go in or pull people out, I'm able to see everything. So mostly though, I like to go in sometimes too. I'll put Monda and I'll leave Matt in there in the RV, and I'll go in myself. But I just like to just coordinate a little bit.
Right. Was Matt really generally afraid half the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He still is.
He still is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the things that would come out of his mouth, I'd be like, dude, is he generally that scared?
Yes, he is.
I mean, I was just like, yeah. And that's part of what that made that show too, is because of the fact that he was being, if he was that scared, that genuine, feeling was was evident, you know, and but it made everything work. And so that's I thought that was really cool, you know, and seeing a lot of different TV shows nowadays, it's something that you guys that they don't really have in that sense is even when you have that comic relief kind of in that mix like that, even with the seriousness, with you guys it worked, you know, and a lot of people have told me that was the one thing that drew them to the show. That was, you know, it was just that common ground that everybody had. And I have a couple people, friends of mine in Chicago, they're going to be on my show in about a week or so. And that's one thing they said. They said they loved the show and they, you know, that's what drew them in. And, you know, so the popularity right now, I think, is unreal. I mean, I really think you guys, it's almost like you struck gold, but a little too late, you know, and it's kind of like, it's like, yeah, and so I'm just kind of surprised, but no, it's still good that you guys, you know, you guys talk and you communicate and all this sort of stuff, and you know, you guys do stuff together, and so I want to shift gears a little bit and ask each and every one of you: is there a certain point, even off the show, was there a point where you were involved in the paranormal or something like that that you had happen to you that was kind of very nerve-wracking or kind of like shocking? I'll let you go, Defici.
In general?
In general, I mean, anything that you, when it involves the paranormal, I mean, did you ever have an experience that I wish this was on the show because, you know, this was crazy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just some of the, like my grandmother telling me that certain family members would visit her, you know, normally not now. From what I understand, that spirits don't stick around because they like to or they're happy. They do it because they're trying to inform you or they have unfinished business or something like that. So she would tell me these stories about her, you know, mother visiting her and father visiting her, and she would, you know, they would leave, you know, messages however they left them, and she would find old, you know, manuscripts that she needed or business papers that she needed for the house, and it kind of came together. So that I've never personally had an experience like that, but family members that I know personally had you know, experiences like that, and that just intrigued me. My own father had an out-of-body experience when he was 7 years old. You know, he's looking down. He was playing football, and he was got knocked out of his body. He's looking down at all these people. The teacher trying to, you know, come and bring him back to consciousness, and he never told anybody that till I was like 40 years old. So
wow,
all that just intrigued me, and it just kind of just stuck with me. I was like, I want to know more. So.
Yeah, that's even that. I mean, that's having, you know, especially having loved ones, you know, contact you type thing. That's kind of, that would be a little earth shattering, you know.
Yeah.
So how about you, Monda? How about you?
First of all, Deficio, I know your daddy was playing real football at 7. That's crazy. But I think my first real experience with it is when I first moved to LA, and I had a roommate who is still my very dear friend, and she would always get visited. And that's what made me believe, because she would seriously get visited by whatever spirit wanted to taunt her, because she couldn't sleep. So she'd wake me up and say, I can't sleep. And then she finally sat down and talked to me and told me what was going on with her, and asked me if it was affecting me, if the spirits were coming in my room. I was like, the spirits don't be coming in my room because they just bothering you, you know. Plus, I don't wake up that early, so I don't think, you know, they know I'm, you know, I'm not a morning person, so they don't come visit me that early. But she was getting visited a lot, so we did actually do some research. We kind of like saged her room, because I just assumed it was something in her room. I don't know if it was maybe like an old item or something, but once we saged it and everything, she stopped having it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you experienced like, have you ran into that before where you've had an object or something like that that you've brought something in and something weird's happened? Or
we did when we did we did an investigation in Hollywood, and we found out that this man was like all about garage sales, and he would pick up all kinds of items, and that was his issue. Yeah.
Just by when I watched that show, that was the same thing. I mean, I was kind of like, man, that guy's got a lot of stuff in there. I'm sure that's got some activity to some of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I grew up, at my mother having a antique store, and I used to have to watch this hole in the wall store where I live by myself in a creepy building, and there would be stuff. I could hear voices and I could hear things moving, and I hated it when I was 16. I hated, sitting there and babysitting the store for my mom, and I was like, as soon as she got there, I was gone. And then but then after that, I started to really kind of get into it and like, okay, there's something more, and it no matter where I went, it followed me no matter where I went. And so I've just, over the years, I just learned to deal with it. I just learned to accept it for what it is, and that's how I got into it. Is I like the fact that I can help the living and the living, or the living and the deceased. So that's why I do it. But I haven't had any objects that I know of. I stopped collecting antiques years ago, just probably because of that.
Because of that,
Every time I go into an antique store, which I love antiques, but it's just like the energy is so odd and different depending on what's there. So everybody says, "Oh, you should buy this and this," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's nice to look at, but that's about it."
Yeah.
So what about you, Purdy? You got one. You got a story. I know you do.
Yeah, I do. Sorry, the PCO texted me. He says, "Bro, having complications with my damn phone." So it's like I saw.
That's him. Right. If he gets back on, well, I'll kick him on. So.
Okay. I've had some crazy stuff over the years, but it kind of started for me over in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I'm originally from. And I recently found this one out because of my sister. Told me probably like a couple months ago. We found like a like almost like a hidden looking door in this house called on Britt Street. And we found it in one of the closets, and it led up to like down, like almost looked like crawl space or something like that. It just led under the house. After we did that, everything seemed to kind of change for me and her, and mainly me, because I started having night terrors, and I was probably like 6 or 7 at the time, and I would very vivid stuff. And when I wasn't having it, I wouldn't even notice that it was happening. So one of them was where I was playing video games in my room, which was all the way in the back hallway. And in my room, I'm sitting there playing video games, and my sister was in the living room at the time, and she heard me talking, and she kind of went all the way from the living room to to my room. And she says she can hear me talking to someone. So she goes like, "Who are you talking to?" And me zoned out, just playing video games as a kid. And I said, "What are you talking about? I've been talking to you the whole time." When she said that, she's like, she did not say anything because she thought it freaked her out. Yeah. And he just kind of like, okay, walked away. And, like 24 years later, she tells me, and that kind of like freaked me out. Like it really gets to your core, because I'm thinking like, here I am thinking I'm talking to my sister, but I was not.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Knew that I was talking to someone. So for me, all I think is, there's someone right here I'm talking to. I think it's my sister.
Yeah.
For her, she hears me talking to someone, and it's only me and her in the house. My parents are out work, so that I think that really messed with us a lot.
Yeah.
I had a lot of like shadows in my room,
Mhm.
You'd see them like cross, like if I had like a light on or something, you just see a
Mhm.
shadow cross it.
Mhm.
And it was
Oh,
torment. It was torment when I was a kid. Like, and I still have dreams about that place.
Now, when we talked the other day, you said you had a door from the Goldfield Hotel?
Yes. Yes. I do have multiple things that I have purchased over the years. Probably I wouldn't say always the greatest idea, but I do have an actual door from the Goldfield Hotel. There was an auction many, many years ago, and we had the opportunity to buy it. And I mean, when we saw it, like I had to have it.
Right.
It's almost like about 80 to 100 pounds. It's a full wooden door.
Wow.
Brass knobs. Like, it's beautiful, and I have it actually in my bedroom. Next to my bed. And then I also purchased a haunted doll.
Yeah. That doll is creepy.
Yeah.
Of course, he's gonna go grab it.
Yeah, of course.
So let me ask you real quick, Moanda.
Yes.
You don't have any haunted objects?
Not that I know of.
No, she's smart.
Not that I know of. I try to buy things brand new.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, some of them, having dreams like that. I mean, yeah, even when you were little. I mean, yeah, that's got to be even disturbing. I had night terrors, the same thing when I was little, but then as I got older, they stopped. But
how do you deal with that when there's not, like, nowadays people talk about it? You got the internet, you have all this stuff. Back then, at least even for me, I'm turning 31 the next month, so it's like I still had dial-up, like most
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
And it's like there wasn't like, oh, you're getting haunted, go here, like figure it
Right.
out. Like there was nothing like that. There was
Right.
like 2 shows on.
There he is.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry.
That's all right.
That's why I need the show back so I can get rid of this cheap ass phone I got.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
see?
for real.
That's all good. We knew he'd come back eventually. So yeah. Yeah, we were talking about haunted objects, and Purdy was showing his doll.
Right.
And yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in my room before, like I put her there, and in the morning she was turned, like looking out the window.
She wants some sunlight.
Yeah, so I just kept her down here and opened up all the windows and stuff like that. But
it's I think it's one thing to have a haunted doll or haunted, maybe in the living room or the den or a case, but in your bedroom, not so much.
Because for me, it's always in my dreams, everything that's always happened. So I figured, like, well, if it's close enough, I probably can, maybe something will happen. Like, I don't know, maybe because I could keep an eye on it, because I don't want to come downstairs and it being like sitting on a counter or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, if that thing gets up and walks, then that it might be time to rethink the whole keeping that doll in your house or keeping it, period.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. So maybe you'll have to look for that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get a glass.
Set up a camera and watch it and just see.
Yeah. Right.
I have to say, and some people have been, chiming in and some of them are just, big fan of you guys. We need a season 2, and there's people asking if you.
Yeah, I see.
Now you see it.
Sorry, everybody, I didn't see the comment. I feel horrible.
I don't see it either.
Where?
It's on the
comment side.
It's on the comment side.
I see now.
Oh, there it is.
I feel so bad.
No, it's all
Hello,
good.
Jennifer.
Garcia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back.
Aw.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that
doll is a note for me, Chucky.
Yeah, it's a note for me too. Yes, Garcia.
Hey Dave, any new ghost hunting equipment invented?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to comment in. We've got a few viewers, so if you got oh wait, this is the let's see. No sweat.
Yeah. No sweat Cedar. I was rushing trying to get to this interview, so I didn't put it on. But I got plenty of them.
Right.
Plenty
so
of them.
yeah. Any questions anybody wants to pop up here? I'll see if I can't get to some of you guys.
You know what I've done for equipment wise? I've basically have like a vest, and I put GoPros all over it because every time something happens, you're always like this close from actually getting on camera. So I'll carry one of my big cameras, and then I'll have a bunch of small, like GoPros and stuff like this, and I'll just have them like.
They're so handy. I got a couple myself, so yeah, they usually do the trick, and they make them now. They're cheap. They're not unless you're spending hundreds of dollars, but even the ones I've got, it's like. At one time, they were $200-$300, and now you can buy them for $50. If that.
Yeah, and modifying them is pretty fun too.
It's amazing how some of the technological stuff has gone a lot cheaper since you probably guys were doing the show back in the day. It's like, where was that stuff when we were doing it? But yeah. So what else would you say if you guys had the opportunity to investigate someplace? Right now, where would you guys go? I mean, on your bucket list.
I would definitely. Where would you go?
New Orleans.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Really?
Yeah, and only reason why is because I'm not wanting to go because of Ghost Adventures or anything else like that.
Right.
Because of Scariest Places on Earth. And strictly because I would love to do like a 24-hour or maybe like 48-hour feed, like live feed.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'd love to have something to where each floor maybe, or maybe some of the most haunted rooms there have just a live feed constantly, maybe on Twitch or any like Facebook. And so you can actually see what's going on when people aren't there. And yeah, just because it has always been on my bucket list since I think 2000, early 2000s. Probably 2004. So like for me, that would be that's awesome. Maybe Alcatraz or something, but only
Alcatraz would be really fun.
That
would be awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah. So where in New Orleans would both of you like to visit? Like any just in general?
I mean, where do you start? There's so much down there.
Yeah.
Old hotels, the Victorian homes, and different neighborhoods.
Right.
I mean, you can just
what is that? What is that downtown? The
French Quarters?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. That would be phenomenal. Yeah. I've never been to New Orleans. I wouldn't mind going, but I just the energy down there, I know it's just got to be off the charts,
Right.
And yeah. Have any of you been to the Stanley Hotel in Colorado?
I have not.
Me either.
Okay, that place is the place where they filmed The Shining.
Yeah, the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah, the Stanley Hotel. In the movie The Shining, it was called the Overlook. So yeah, it's actually the Stanley Hotel, and I've been there twice, and I got quite a bit of good physical picture evidence when I was doing a walkthrough. I love that place. I'm a Colorado fan anyways, but it was just you walk in and you could just feel the energy in there, and it's amazing. So if you ever get a chance to do that, I mean, that is a place that's a beautiful place. I wanted to stay in room 217, and one where Stephen King wrote part of the movie or part of the book in that room, and he was talking about part of his experiences were in the book.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean that was his whole premises of him writing this book, and yeah, it was kind of crazy. As far as the Waverly Hills, I've never. Is that in
Louisville, Kentucky?
Kentucky. Okay.
We got Waverly Hills is awesome. Penhurst Penitentiary.
Wood, Lola Wood. Savannah, yes.
Garcia, literally Arizona. You guys have a lot of stuff too.
Yeah. Tombstone.
Tombstone, Arizona. Agreed.
Arizona would be great.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I would love that.
About a season 2. Any thoughts on doing a shows on YouTube? That right there we have thought of, but it's extremely hard nowadays because since there was 5 of us, 6 of us, whatever. Like, how many of us were there?
Five.
Yeah.
5, and it's like in my head, I think filming it, editing everything, going out and doing this. I mean, you would have to go do so much, and having 5 people's schedules at all times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, like it would be just so hard to do and get all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, you can see your popularity. I mean, even on here. I mean, I had so many people saying, God, I'm so glad that you guys are going to be on your show. I mean, we found these just recently and we love them, so yeah, the popularity, you guys are just, I mean, right now, I mean, as of late, since I discovered you and, watching your show, and other people have now too, I mean, it's almost like you guys have become quiet rock stars in your own mind.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, you guys are just kind of like, you're killing it and not even really doing anything.
Right. Exactly.
So, which is cool, but I guess in that sense, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So you never know. Like I said, I'm a firm believer in that. So anything can happen. But
I think the fact that we even got a chance to do a show is in its right already amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there was a lot of people. I've had people calling us sellouts and stuff like that because we got a show, and it's like, we're obviously 6 years ago. We were younger, and it's like, who wouldn't want to do a show?
Right.
Be on a network, you get to do this. Like, it's fun. Like, you get a chance to do it. Why not?
Yeah. And this person's kind of summed it up. You guys were the best. All the other shows are the same, boring.
Yes, I think we talked about that.
Thank you.
We talked about that. They're all.
Sobe is her first name. Sobe.
Yeah. Everyone wants to be serious. Every show always wants to be serious, and then when you have everything being serious, then it's all the same. Like for us, we did something where we didn't want to be too serious. We didn't want it to be. There's my dad.
I knew that.
There's my dad. Yeah. We didn't want to be serious. It's like, why be like everyone else? I mean, what's her name?
Right.
Keisha. She has a singer, and it's like same thing. Like every other show, it's like nothing against them, but like there's only so much you can handle when you have like the scary effect.
Yeah.
When someone around a corner.
Right. Garcia said we need real.
Right. Yeah, it's like we were real when we did our stuff. Those reactions, everything we had was.
And the best way to describe it is what you saw is what you got.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why. And I haven't really watched. I used to when I was, years ago. I would watch some of the old Ghost Hunters and all this other stuff, and I just thought, as the other ones started coming out, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And then I just stopped because it was the same. And not to bash on anybody's TV show, because that's not what I'm doing, but I'm just saying it's just not for me anymore. I kind of grew out of that whole thing of, watching some of those shows that are similar. Some of them were different, but
kind of like movies.
Yeah.
When you have it, like when someone says like does something like, I think it was Apocalypses for like a good minute there. Every movie that came out was something about an apocalypse. And then at some point you're like, man, like you got to come up with new.
It's got to be something new.
Like, the moon is coming at us. Rock is coming at us. Something, the Mayan calendar, like with 2012.
Right.
Like back in the day, it was like.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, but it's like after
everything after that.
A bunch of other ones too. Yeah. That were trying to ride the coattails of it. And it was just kind of like. Ghost Adventures has been around for a long time, and I've been on his show for some of the things I've captured here in Vegas, me and my family, and like they're good at what they do, but everyone else is trying to mimic that, and then for every variation you get from that mimic, it's just like, all right, where's that new thing? And I think brought that funness to where it's like, look, no one has gone to Compton, okay?
Right.
No
Right.
show has gone to Compton. There's
Right.
never really been
And
mostly all
I
black
think,
cast.
right.
Like
In reality, though, you have to realize that if you bring everyday people into these situations, because we're everyday people,
Right.
except like Purdy, who this is his thing, this is what he does, and DeFicio has a strong interest, but the rest, we're everyday people. We are going to react a certain way, and that's where comedy comes. It's not like we're pushing the comedy. We're scared shitless. So
yeah,
that comes.
Yeah, it was effortless.
So
I mean,
it wasn't pushed.
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
It just happened.
Yep, that it happened that way, because that's keeping everything real and true. And and some of these other shows, or even the networks say, maybe you got to do it this way or do it this way. But from what I could tell, you guys just did your own thing. And that was in itself is refreshing. Like I said before, I mean, it's just today is, everything is kind of oversaturated with a lot of YouTube and, even the paranormal and even on Facebook and all that. And it's just like, it's kind of like what Purdy said, when you make a movie about the end of the times and then all of a sudden everybody's got to make 5 movies after that, the same thing, so yeah. But
at some point, someone needs to hit the reset button, or at least come up with a new concept that just makes it just a little bit different enough for people to get latched onto it. We're not trying to be like, here's the science down to everything. It's more like, look, we're going to places no one else has ever thought of going to. We're going to try doing something with a crew, not just 3 people or 30 people. We're just, what?
I don't know.
Well, okay. I think we lagged out a little bit.
That's all right. So
it was the spirit.
that's Purdy's fault.
Yeah.
So
that's that damn doll.
Yeah.
I'll move her away.
So it's like I wanted to ask you too, DeFicio, that being in Compton, what was that like? I mean, did you have people come up to you and say, hey, you guys are, filming a TV show, or, did you have interactions with people, or?
It has its challenges when you go to areas like Compton.
That's what I was going to wonder.
Yeah, the neighborhood people, we didn't exactly announce, hey, we're gonna do some investigations here.
Right.
But when we arrived, and they, people see all these people and cameras, and they're like, just walking up to us. And I remember it was an instance where I had the wrong color sweatsuit. So I had to switch out.
Oh no!
Switch out pretty fast. So
yeah,
out of respect. So
right.
I did just that.
I was wondering. I mean, if you ran into that, I'd like to hear some of that. I mean, it's just like, how uncomfortable at times were you guys in some of these places?
We were pretty.
I'm urban, so I was all right.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you, I'm urban. I know how to run from dogs.
To me. I was jazzing over here. You guys were Aladdin, showing me a whole new world, and I was just I'm ready. Because man, I think we went to Compton. We were filming at the mortuary, the drive-through mortuary, and we were just waiting, and they were all setting up the set and stuff, and I remember just all of us sitting by like a fence, and you just hear woo, 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 and it was like 30 cop cars chasing this one car through Compton, and we were just like, well, look at that, it's like it's you feel like
right.
And it was just stuff like that where it was like, it was
you're right, and not even in Compton in general. I mean, it just in Los Angeles, I mean, there's some places in Los Angeles that that people are just like, wow, that's kind of crazy. I've been to Los Angeles once, and I was okay with that. I mean, so my daughter lives in San Diego, and we traveled up there once, and to see the different landmarks of like Los Angeles and this and that was really pretty cool. But when you guys, kind of went to places where you really wouldn't think to do a paranormal show.
Right.
You guys kind of did send a trend to go to places where, it's not seen on TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which I think that was another the cool thing was that when you guys did the dry cleaning, that that even that was pretty cool. A dry cleaner. I mean, those buildings are so old and everything, but it was just so like I said, right, and you have to at times.
We were pretty much family. I still consider us family. It's like, look, me and Malunda are dressed in the same color.
We are.
We were together for a long time, and it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We had fun with it. It shows we don't need to always take things so seriously, and I think that's what kind of makes it great now after the years we've had. Where it was serious, I think that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So here's a question for you, Monda. What was your favorite place to research? You researched?
Well, it was. I always say Compton, but that's not true in this situation. So one time we were in Inglewood, and we were going towards. Was that with the Pinatas shop? That was an interesting place, because then we found out so much information about there was an actual serial killer who had killed a lot of people in that area, and there was just so many spirits and energy that still wasn't at rest. And I didn't know about that serial killer before we researched that place, before we investigated that place. And I think it was some months later, after investigating that place, that guy was going to be executed or something like that. So it was kind of odd. I had been following it, it was sad, but it was interesting, because to know all his victims were very young girls. It was terrible, but it was still interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that would have been kind of creepy in its own right. I mean, it's just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
Right. But
I'm loving the comments here. There's actually quite a good stuff happening. There's the pinata.
Yeah.
Is that true? Okay. Vessel for spirits.
The scary pinata.
I can see that.
When we got that made, a lot of people is kind of controversial on that and stuff, but I still think have fun with it, right? When the show wrapped, I took that pinata with me. Mm-hmm. I put it in my car and drove all the way to Vegas with it, with the head sticking out.
Oh no!
That's a big pinata.
That's a big pinata.
Yeah.
Nice. Leave it up to Purdy.
Yeah, leave it up to Purdy. I think you're kind of masochistic, Purdy. Come on.
You never. I've talked to him a couple times on the phone now. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a strange streak in him, but he's all right.
Well, I mean, it's like I remember you talking about, Jay, about you had another one of your friends who's very much an engineer and stuff like that, right? He likes to look at everything in a scientific way.
Right.
I think I don't know if he's coming on or not, but I think he would agree when it comes down to it. You kind of have to put yourself into those experiments to see what the outcome would be.
Oh, he would totally agree. Yeah.
And I think, a lot of people are scared of it, but I mean, I've already been doing this for so many years. And I think someone put in here, are any of you intuitive, empath, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jasmine is. She's dealt with that.
Jasmine, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
But I have most of my stuff happen because of something that I did when I was a kid that I didn't know of.
Right. But I told you before, too, that part of that from your dad's side of the family. Remember?
Yeah. It probably is part of my dad's side.
Yeah.
It just opened up more when I did something. So it's I already did it. So I might as well open that door for anyone that's wondering.
Yeah, right.
I might as well experiment. Like, okay, what is out there? What can happen if I buy this stuff or do
Pinata out the window.
pinata?
Yeah. Oh my
You know,
gosh.
these people are funny. Why not crowdfund a new season? Well, I didn't really think about asking people.
Oh yeah.
Never even thought about that.
I mean, look at there's that. Not to get way off subject, but if you've ever seen that movie Super Troopers.
Yes,
I've heard of it.
Okay, they I do believe that they crowdfunded their second movie.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start on that. How much, like, what it would take
I don't know.
compared to a full season. My dad says, "Don't blame me." And Lauren says, "I can feel a spirit. I can feel when a spirit is around." That's cool.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
What is everyone up to as far as interest and careers?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Who goes first? DeFicio, you go.
I'm currently I still do odd jobs. I work security here. I throw some boxes, stock boxes, and do some investigations when I can.
Bro, you also wrapped up at like some movie, didn't you?
Yeah. So I mean, look, this is LA, so I do. I mean, why not throw my hat in the ring of auditioning? So
right. Yeah, why not?
I do I audition here and there. I mean, I can't do it full time because I'm taking care of my family and stuff like that. But
right.
Every once in a while, yeah, I'll get it. I'll go out there and go and audition.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I audition probably a few times a week, and I've done a few commercials over time. I also did, to tell the truth, because I was the researcher and they did not believe that I was a ghost hunter. That was on ABC, and when I'm not auditioning or when I'm not doing some kind of film project, I am a personal trainer, so I have my own business with that, and
okay.
I do that. Yeah,
that's cool. Awesome. Well, you got stuff going on. That's cool. And both of you and DeFicio also. I mean, that's awesome. I didn't know that you were still doing. Both of you were still, kind of like in that whole going to auditions and stuff, which is awesome. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
And what's Purdy doing?
So after that wrapped up, I obviously came back to Vegas and I did another TV show called Spirit of Nevada. But in this one, I wasn't on camera. I was the one filming and editing because I realized like I love
right.
filming. So
right.
Yeah, I did that for 6 years and it was successful on that and had fun. I'm ready to move on from that and do something else. And I don't know. It's like I've been in the film anyways, like filming stuff. So I just did shows. So everyone can look at the Spirit of Nevada on Facebook and stuff, and you can see my work.
Right.
I did like 300 episodes on that thing. So
that's a lot. Yeah.
And that's a lot, especially for editing and filming and all that.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly.
So this was from, you see this?
The visual should put on a line.
Right. Put out a line of
Yeah. Yeah.
You should. Yeah,
you should. There you go.
You should. There you go.
That's a great idea.
They have all these great ideas for us. Thank you.
Right? Yeah.
We needed this stuff a long time ago.
She said, what Lois says, I'd buy one.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone should have a sweatcedo in their life.
There you go.
Yeah.
I tried one of his on. I'm like, not fit, but I remember it was comfortable.
Yeah. Right. So, when I was talking with about Purdy the other day, actually, because I'm a psychic medium, so I was getting a bunch of messages and images before we came onto the show like 2-3 days before, and I called him on the phone, and he basically confirmed everything that I had visions for, and it was about Bonner Springs and Bonnie Springs, and it was about a woman who was supposedly murdered, and I told him I had a vision of this pool of being underwater looking up, and I see the hotel and everything, and he sent me that picture, and I about died. Yeah, I was like, yeah. So there was a reason why I asked you all guys on here and connected with Purdy and everything. I don't believe in coincidence, and I think that this was one of the reasons. I mean, we have great people in the chat room. We have, a lot of people talked about how popular your show is. I mean, it's just the list goes on. And so, I want to be able to say thank you, everybody, for being here. My hour is up, but I mean, I could do this all day because this has been a lot of fun. Yes. You guys were fantastic. And I want to thank each and every one of you. You guys are awesome, and you're so kind and nice, and to be on my show and to talk with some of the fans and some of the other people. And and we do all hope that, at some point that you guys do get back in the game of having a paranormal TV show or doing something along those lines, because I tell you what, the chemistry was there, and and from what I could tell, and people can, tell as well, is that it's still there, so
it's still there.
So so I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in and watching this, and everybody who commented. Or you guys are all awesome. I couldn't have
comments were awesome.
Yeah, comments were awesome. I mean, we'll have to do this again. I mean, because this was a great time. So awesome. So I want to thank you both again, and
you're welcome.
Eventually, we'll be doing it. We'll doing it again soon. So next week I don't have a show, but I will have another one the week after, and I think that's it for now. I'll have a link on my page for Elizabeth Mariquin's beads and necklaces and bracelets, and I will talk about that in length too later at some point. So everybody, thank you again. And we'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye.